Welcome to the Block Party. My name is Seth Kushner. Today, I am joined by a man with many titles. We can say NFL Hall of Famer. We can throw that in there, Super Bowl champ, or we can say VP of Corporate and Community Development with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Either way, it's Derrick Brooks. Derrick, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome, Seth. Excited to join you. How have you been doing?
I'm good, Derrick. And I know that you've been working with Emily, Arena, and Vinnick and that whole family for a long, long time. But I was thinking about this. Do you know how to skate?
Let me give you a funny story. I'm actually, I made a bet this past 2020, and this was probably a little over a year ago, prior to our pandemic, probably like January, February, and I saw Julian and Steve. They was in our break, coming around by our break room, and the three of us just happened to meet up. So we're sitting there, we're talking some small talk about the team. And I blurted out, I said, you know what, man, if we win it all, I'm gonna get out there and skate. Because I've always said I don't want to get on the ice and skate. I say I'm not gonna do it. Andrew Chuck has asked me countless people have asked me, and I've said no. So I said, we win it all, I'll go out there, but I don't know how to skate. So Steve tells me the story about when his Toronto Raptors days, he taught, a couple people how to skate, and then even so the Maple Leafs. So I said, okay, the two of you guys, between the two of you, teach me how to skate. We win it all. It's a bet. So didn't think anything of it. Obviously, we go on, we win the cup, and the night the team got back, we celebrating down, right by the locker room. Steve walks over to me and he said, hey, you remember that bet? I said, oh, wow, you're right. You're right. Oh my God. So at some point, I will get out on the ice and learn how to skate. And Steve Griggs or Julian, GM, one of them will be out there with me to teach me.
Man, I'm so glad that there's a story behind that, Derrick. Because I was thinking you've been in that building a long time, and I've never seen any pictures of you out on the ice. You got your own private skate. You got your own private skating rink out there.
Yeah. So when we get back at some point, I'm gonna honor the bet and get out there and and have some fun with it.
Derrick, listen, man, I got to know now that the Bolts have won and they did a boat parade, or they did a boat parade, and the Bucks have won and they did a boat parade. What do you think about boat parades? Do you wish that they had those back when you won the Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely not. No, no way. No way. And you said that's one thing that I was, recalling 2 weeks ago during, Super Bowl week is the thought and the memories of the parade through downtown. And, that's one of my fondest memories from our Super Bowl win in 2002. It really, the game and, my play and the interception, all those things are, obviously important and fine. But the way the people responded, some of it was a little scary. I mean, they were, hanging out of the 34 buildings in downtown as we was going through it, the parking garage. It was, a little bit scary. But the fact that, to me, it even felt better than a Gasparilla parade, just because everyone was down, and not just from Tampa, but from all our surrounding areas to support us. And again, that's the part I remember the most is, getting out of the cars and walking, and fans having a chance to touch the Lombardi Trophy. So I like the way we did it back in 2002. But I must admit now, the boat parades were fun. I can tell you the team and everybody else enjoyed those more than the fans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, Derrick, I want to know, what were the Lightning like, and what was your interest in the Lightning, if any, back in the day when you were playing for the Bucks?
Oh, it was always one of support because, we just got the team, early 90s, and I just got here mid 90s. So it was always, whether we were I went to a hockey game at, the old Trop, to the fairgrounds, believe it or not, to the building we're in. It's always been one of mutual support for both teams, to be honest with you. And I've always respected that, especially when, they won the cup in 04. Pretty much every playoff game, had fans, and we were squeezed in there with the fans, to obviously support Marty and Brad and those guys. And again, I think the mutual respect during that run, and it is very, again, the championship attitude. It just takes me back to, like I say, even though we didn't win it in the same year, and we won it in '02 and the Bolts in '04, just that period of 24 months, man, we were the talk of the nation. And right now, we really are with all three teams, even though our Rays, fell a couple games short, but they're expected to contend again. And I'm excited that, our team is off to a good start, meaning the Lightning. We had a little bump last night. The Florida Panthers are playing. Yeah, they're playing well too, but our chase to the title again, they're really playing well right now. And I think the championship attitude will, again, start to support the Bolts and the Rays as we get started.
Derrick, better trophy, the Lombardi Trophy or the Stanley Cup?
Well, I did a little fun thing with my on my Tampa 2 show where I introduced them both. So the fact that as far as I know, this is a disclaimer. I am the only athlete to have a Stanley Cup ring. A Stanley ring and a Lombardi ring. So I'll have when we get them, so I'll display them both. Super Bowl ring, Stanley Cup championship.
See, I can't ask that question to anybody else except you, Derrick. So that's why.
No, but I tell you what, it was definitely more. I mean, I enjoyed watching our guys. Obviously, I played in big part of that, but just on the front office end and the business end of our Lightning to see how those guys grinded through the bubble and the mental toughness that it took to stay focused all that time, man. And it's just one of those things that me as an athlete just come to appreciate that from both teams, to be honest with you. Even though football wasn't as much of a bubble as our hockey team, but it was some changes that had to be made through 2020. And again, hats off and raise two hands for both our teams for being able to stay the course and win the championships.
Derrick, who's your favorite player on the Lightning right now?
Man, it'll hard press for me to go outside of Stamkos. I've known him the longest.
How tough is he, Derrick? You know more than all of us. You know what he was probably going through and fighting through to get into that. To play last year in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, what's it been like to watch him grow up and just to know just how tough of a kid he really is?
Man, it is tremendous. I've been here, since Stephen came here, it's 18-year-old kid. And to see him now, this is his home and raising a family, it's kind of like you're watching, your little brother grow up to a certain extent. But at the same time, people had a chance to really see the physical toughness and mental toughness that he's grinded through really the last 3 to 4 years. He's battled some very tough injuries, and he stayed the course and stayed engaged, and thankfully to the front office still sticking with him and believing in him and understanding how important he is to our team and to our organization. But man, it was such a lift to see him. And again, I think that was probably even the turning point last year, that if there was anything of a comeback against us, that was not going to happen. And for him to get back and play, obviously, in the Stanley Cup Finals, and even though he's still overcoming some things now, just being him gritting, grinding through, just shows the mentality of his team. And again, that is the reason he wears the C on his jersey.
Derrick, over the years, have you brought any of your friends, any former players to a game that didn't know anything about hockey and got hooked once they saw it for the first time?
Yes, I've hosted some of our Bucks players or even some friends to the game. Obviously, when we had our arena football team that I ran before coming over full time to the business of hockey, they used to come to the game all the time, and we go hockey 1-on-1 with them, and I'll explain as much as I could before I call in, Brad and Dave, the experts, alumni, to sit with our guys and explain what's going on. But yes, I've over the years have brought many people to the game that have become fans, or like I say, novice that's to the games for the first time. Really get a chance to appreciate the sport of the NHL.
Derrick, your Hall of Fame bust. Do you feel like it looks like you? Is there anything you feel like you think about maybe just randomly that they could change, or you think it's perfectly okay the way it is?
No, it did, and I, because half my career I wore a bald head and half I, carried my gray hairs. So I actually, it was actually a question that I had to decide on, did I want hair or not on my bust. So I obviously, my wife, you got to go with the hair.
Yeah.
So I did, and Blair did I think Blair did an outstanding job of really displaying, because you got to take your current features, which are older. And for me, it wasn't that much older because I was a first ballot. So I didn't really change much in my 5-year wait. But you got to imagine for some guys that, like I take John Lynch for an example, who recently got in. John's facial features has definitely changed since the last time he played, back in 2006. So you got to think 14 years later what a picture looks like now versus him. And that's what, Blair being one of them, that's what they have to go through when they make the bus. Okay, how do I take those young features off a picture and match them up to what they did today? And going through that process, it takes a whole day. And they make the clay and they sit down and measure all these things on your face. And I mean, it is an experience, but I tell you what, there's a period there you have to sit still. I think for me, it was about an hour.
Oh,
That I couldn't, only thing I could do was blink, but I could not move. And it is so detailed what they do. And again, I think the NFL, excuse me, Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to this year do a behind the scenes feature of what it takes for guys to do to get their bus. But it is a process, and I actually think it looks pretty much. If I'm getting percentages, Seth, I go 85%. It does
85.
look.
Derrick, when you were 26 years old, you should have just said, "Hey, I know I'm heading to Canton. Let's take the picture right now and do this because I'm gonna." I mean, you got to do all this. You got to do all this work just to get to the Hall of Fame. Then you have to sit there for an hour when you go through the whole deal. They should make it easier on you guys.
Oh, I honestly, I wish at 26 I knew what I knew when I went in. I probably would have made some of those decisions. But again, it is a extreme process, and one that I've come to appreciate how much work goes into it.
Derrick, I have to bring this up because he was a friend of mine, and I'm sure that you had a big connection to him. Vincent Jackson. I just want to know, guys like you, guys like Vincent, guys like Jeff Vinnick, Steven Stamkos, so important to the community. And you've shown that, and you've led the way over the years. And Vincent was one of those guys, played for the Bucks for 5 years, spent so much time here working with military families and through baby showers. What was your reaction when you heard about the loss of Vincent Jackson?
One, I was speechless, emotionally numb. Yesterday afternoon when I received the call and the information, and I went through the gamut of emotions from, emotions, man, from tears to anger to sadness. You name it, yeah, I felt it. And to see someone that I've spent time with and seeking, spend time as to how you make our community better. For him to buy into that from the day one he got here, to sitting down with him and going over strategy sessions and me understanding his passion of wanting to give back, particularly through the military, and how Tampa was his home now, and he was wanting to expand his business connection portfolio here in the Bay Area, just the whole nine. And yes, I'm gonna say I was blessed to have a relationship with him these 5 years, but man, it's an empty void really in me as well, because we've lost one of the young, I say, community soldiers here in our Bay Area that had a major impact, major impact. And obviously, we don't know all the facts as you and I sit here and talk today, and I anxiously wait. But I guess that's anything to closure is everyone wanting to know what happened, because my last communication with him definitely was not anything going in this direction in terms of what we happened yesterday. It was all about continuing to invest in our community from a personal standpoint, business standpoint, and looking to the next generation standpoint.
And he was a hell of a guy. And, guys like you and guys like him are just, they're rare, that's why I wanted, to get your reaction to it. And thank you, Derrick, for sharing that. He's done so much for me, whether I was helping him promote his charity events or I needed something from him, he was always there, always kind. And we're definitely going to miss him. I had the same reaction you did yesterday. Speaking about giving back, what's it been like for you to work so closely with Mr. Vinnick over these last, however many years, and to get to know him more than anybody else?
Well, thank you. Well, this May will mark my 10th year, under the VSG umbrella, and he's one of the reasons that when Todd Lawicki brought the opportunity to run the Tampa Bay Storm for Mr. Vinnick and get involved into everything he was doing. When I sat down with him, I was so impressed, Seth, by his vision. He's a true visionary, and he started to talk about how we're going to revamp this area to be a major player when we're talking about technology, business, transportation, uplifting our city. And I say here, thought he hadn't even been here over a year since he bought the team, and he's thinking these things, man, extremely smart. Obviously, I knew about it from his mutual fund background in investing, but to sit there for 2 days and get a chance to talk with him, I knew I had to be a part of whatever he was doing, and it's just been an extreme joy from the way he treats the players and management and us on the business side, and providing all the resources and tools we need, not only to make our business better, but more importantly, make Tampa Bay better. The Community Hero Award is unprecedented. I still haven't seen anyone duplicate that effort to the masses. As a matter of fact, he's set the example for other sports franchises to follow. So it's no coincidence, where we've ranked in terms of the best franchise in all the sports, period. So I'm humbled when I'm around him, because I'm around him soaking up knowledge, every time he speaks, and his drive to want to see our city succeed is second to none. And that's, again, one of the big reasons why I decided to join him about 9.5 years ago.
When you talk about, hey, we've got a hockey franchise here and we've got a stadium, I don't know anything about it. I'm just like, okay, cool. You go to the game and, it's there, but there's so much more. Now you see Water Street and you see everything happening in the experience before the game and during the game. And he's absolutely changed everything. And it's first class all the way. And everybody, sings his praises. And it was nothing that I ever imagined. I just thought, hey, put a good hockey team out there. That's all that matters, but it's everything. It's everything that goes along with it. And these owners can do so much for our city too. And that's why they're so special.
Yes. You got to think about this, Seth. He was one of the ambassadors during our Super Bowl week, which is obviously football, but Fox Business News was down here covering him on his vision of how he has all of our sports franchises being a part of uplifting this area, and how we are more than just, the team that entertains. We are a quote unquote business unit that's a part of all the businesses in here. So we just don't stay locked inside Amalie Arena. Our vision is outside these doors. How do we keep making this a world-class experience where people want to come visit our arena, visit the district, and stay engaged in Tampa for 365 days a year? And then for people that move here, how do we get our transportation system better? Here's like you said, NHL owner leading a transportation initiative to improve transportation because he understands how important that is in the growth of our city. So as I said before, visionary, very driven, and again, I'm very grateful to be working at VSG.
Derrick, can you please, I know this is going to be maybe a hard question to ask, maybe it's simple, but can you please just shed some light on how Tom Brady's so good?
Well, it's obviously it does have something to do with the 82 other guys on the team.
Okay, it's good to know.
So
does he get
you
too
know,
much? You think he gets too much credit, Derrick?
You know, to me, Tom always gives the credit back. He's not one that, as much as people praises him for, you know, the trips to the Super Bowl and the Lombardi trophies. Tom throws all that back on his teammates, and that's who he is. Yes, we've probably had a chance to experience a Tom Brady that nobody up north had a chance to, and it is who he is, why he came here, to be embraced differently, and also to be open to other ways of doing things, and all those things came together. But in terms of, you know, champion, arguably the best, you know, best QB to play the game. I mean, you enter those conversations with him because of the success that he's had. But Tom will be the first to tell you that, you know, I've only been as good as, you know, the teams around me at times because the defense has won Super Bowls. You know, Vinatieri has kicked game-winning field goals. You know, everybody has done their part, but to your point, he has been the quarterback leading the way, and I think credit deserves to be spread around to everybody. And Tom's personality does that. So for me, I'm just, you know, a fan of his, just like everybody else.
Derrick, what's it like? I mean, whether you're going to Publix on a Sunday, you're at a Bucks game, what's it like to still see people rocking your jersey, the 55? You ever go up, tap them on the shoulder? I mean, it's still got to be special to you.
Yeah, you know, with my sense of humor, I play games with people like that, especially not at the stadium now, because at the stadium, you know, it's hard for me to go unrecognized. And that I've learned the hard way to make it easy on TSA and our security to you know, not cause a scene, or when I'm being nice, it's a little bit hard. So I've learned over the years that my gesture of being nice can turn into a nightmare for others. So you know, I've managed that process. But say if I'm out in the grocery store or Publix somewhere and I see someone, I go up to them and ask them, hey, who was that guy that jersey had, you know, man, what does he do? Get people, so they're talking about me and I'm standing there. And some people honestly say they don't know it's me.
Oh no.
Yeah, honestly, I have like a hat on and I'll look and I'll take my glass shades or something off, hat off, and I say, do you know what he looks like? And some people, be honest with you, they've known me as the Bright House guy. or the Jerry guy that's on the YouTube commercials. That's who they would say. It's like, oh, you're the guy that's on the Bright House. They would not say me. Honestly, that has been more the reaction until I tell them I played, and then they're super excited to meet me. But I will tell you, if we did 5 people, 3 out of those 5, they'll probably say I'm the guy from the commercials for Jerry or for Bright House, back when I was doing the commercials for Bright House.
Man, I feel like when I gave you that good intro, I feel like I left out Jerry and Bright House from it, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna leave it out during the closing. Derrick,
but it was honestly, we made a commercial out of this, but it was one couple in Publix that the wife, she thought I worked for Bright House. She was like, and the husband was like, that's Derrick Brooks, honey. And they were like literally getting the argument. So I'm standing there and the lady's like, I see you on these commercials. You're the Bright House guy. I'm having these troubles. And she started telling me, say, can you help me get them fixed? and her husband's like, I'm so embarrassed. He's like, I'm so embarrassed, Derrick. She has no idea you're the best. He's just going on about my football resume. So I start saying, listen, both you guys are right. Okay, ma'am, I could take your information and give it to the right people at Bright House and have them call you. I said, sir, I appreciate the fact that you support me as a player. So both you guys are right. I say, but ma'am, currently I do not work with us, so I can't help you. And I told her, I said, man, maybe you need to go home and just show us a video on Bright House, so everything will be fine. But they ended up Bright House marketing people ended up making a commercial out of that because this lady was so adamant about me being the Bright House guy that would help fix her issues with their cable.
Hey, that's how you know you've had a good, second wind or a good, career after football, that you're not even, nobody even knows that you played. Hey, Derrick, you've been awesome. You've answered all my uncomfortable questions today, but I got one more for you. You're playing,
yes, sir.
You're in your prime. You get your pick, one quarterback to win it all. You go in Brady or Brad Johnson?
One quarterback to win it all.
One quarterback to win it all, the big games.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely, over time, I would have to go with Tom because he's done it over time.
Okay. All right. Leaving Brad out, even though Brad brought it home was part of it. It wasn't the sole reason.
Trust me, the bull would understand because I've competed against him. And he actually told a story about one time I hit him and knocked his vocal cord out.
Oh, God.
Hey, if you ask Brad that question, Brad would probably pick Tom just because he's done it so many times.
Derrick, listen, you might know Derrick from Jerry Ohm Dodge's Bright House commercials, Hall of Famer for the Buccaneers, Vice President of Corporate and Community Development for Amley Arena. Derrick, it was a pleasure. Thanks for talking Bucks. Thanks for talking the community. Thanks for talking Bolts. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we can do this again before the season ends.
Oh, absolutely, man. You just let me know, Seth. I'll be happy to visit the block party once again.